Give me the news. I've got a bad case of loving you. No pills gonna cure my head. I got a bad case of loving you.
Hello and good morning. It is Coronavirus Video Journal Day 29. It is the morning of May 25th, 2020. My shift just ended an hour later than it was supposed to because it has been crazy busy in the hospital with tons of super sick people. I will keep this nice and short though because I only had one coronavirus patient admitted, and believe it or not, despite that patient being positive for coronavirus, the reason I had to admit them was for a physician prescribing them an antibiotic that they did not require simply because they tested positive for the coronavirus. And the reaction the patient had to that medication caused them to require hospitalization. So even though officially it wasn't coronavirus that caused her admission, it was coronavirus that led to the stupid choices that then led to her hospitalization. So anyway, that's it. Otherwise, I wish I could tell you the stories of the craziness that went down throughout the night with the different patients I had, but it's not coronavirus or COVID related, and I don't want to break patient confidentiality. So nonetheless, have a good day. Stay safe. Please keep wearing your masks. And to the idiots who aren't wearing their masks, you're idiots and you're hurting us. So nonetheless, that's it. Be good. We'll talk again tomorrow. Good morning. It is Coronavirus Video Journal Day 30. It is the morning of May 26th, 2020. I'm going to keep these really brief now because I have no coronavirus patients. I didn't admit any overnight, even though it was a busy night again. It looks like people are finally starting to trickle back into the emergency department for their regular complaints that we, work up only to find out they're always normal. So the whiny people, the hypochondriacs, and so forth are now coming into the hospital slowly but surely like they used to before the pandemic. So that means the hospitals can make money, and hopefully that also means that the same type of patients are seeing their doctors in clinics, so those doctors can actually have their clinics open up again and make a living that way. Otherwise, like I said, it's a coronavirus video journal, and I have no coronavirus patients, so that'll do it for me. Numbers are looking pretty bad throughout rural America, but here in California, they look pretty good. Apparently Los Angeles County is still on the uptrend, but not at this hospital. So nonetheless, I think that's about it. But if anything else comes up, I'll let you know. We'll talk. Good morning. It is Coronavirus Video Journal Day 31. It is the morning of May 27th, 2020. My shift is almost over. It has been a somewhat busy night, but fortunately tonight I had backup. But we'll keep this one short and sweet. No coronavirus admissions overnight for me. So still waiting on that one. Looks like more than likely what I'm going to end up doing with the journal now is subdividing, or I guess grouping, a week's worth of journal entries into one long video that can be viewed that way instead of constantly posting 1.5 minute videos saying that I didn't have any patients. So, yeah, that's it. Lots of bad news coming out about the virus and how we're managing it across the country. But that seems to be a red state problem for the time being, and not a California issue just yet. But again, we should start seeing an influx of patients by Friday based on calculations and, reopening. So, 2 more days and we'll find out. So, have a good day. That's going to be it for me. Keep it short and sweet. Keep wearing your masks. Stay safe. Try to stay away from other people. And feel free to mask shame anyone who's not wearing a mask, by all means. That's it for me. Be good. Good morning. It is Coronavirus Video Journal Day 32. It is the morning of May 28th. And not a bad night. I did have a single coronavirus admission overnight, and it was actually a young individual with a heart complication because of the disease. Go figure. Patient's heart is beating too quickly and can't be slowed down appropriately like we would usually do with various forms of medicine. But we CT scanned his heart. We CT scanned his chest, and our CT scan showed nothing in his lungs or in the heart. And so the coronavirus is no longer in the lungs, and the lungs have beaten that infection, at least from, a picture appearance from our scans, but for whatever reason, it's still affecting the heart. So we have a cardiologist who's going to come see the patient, and we have an ultrasound of the heart, also called an echocardiogram, that's going to be done today so we can see how the heart is beating and working to get a better idea of what's going on with the heart. Other than that, the only news I have to report is that we are out of tests. So whenever tests are done for coronavirus, it's a swab. And, you've heard the stories that, it feels like they're trying to poke your brain. Well, guess what? They don't need to be doing that anymore because they found that just inside of your nose is just as accurate as jamming it way back there. Anyway, when they do that swab, they have to then put that swab into a liquid that's in a little tube, like a test tube. And we no longer have that liquid. It's a specialized liquid that they call medium. It's kind of like a broth, pretty much, that will allow the virus, if it's on the swab, to not die and exist so that it can then be tested whenever that tube makes it to the lab. And so we've run out of that media, and it's becoming more and more difficult to get our hands on it. So this is one of those reagents that you've heard in the news is running low. So we have to now save whatever testing capacity we have for those patients that we're absolutely sure have the virus anyway. Go figure. And that's for the safety of everyone in the hospital, because we have to verify that that patient does have coronavirus so that they don't get put on a unit that is free of coronavirus, therefore infecting everyone on the unit. So it makes our job a little more complicated, but for the time being, it's a minor concern relative to the other 1,000 things that can be going wrong right now when it comes to this pandemic. So I won't complain too much, but that will be it for me today. Stay safe, be good, keep wearing your masks, stay inside if you can, and we'll talk again. Hello, welcome to Coronavirus Video Journal Day 33. It is the morning of May 29th, 2020. Not much to report. Very light night tonight. No COVID patients overnight for either myself or my partner. And the hospital finally has some new coronavirus tests and medium. So hopefully that'll last. Still waiting to see if our numbers pick up. Tomorrow's supposed to be, my calculated day, because it'll have been 2 weeks since Friday that things started opening up in Southern California. So we will see. But that's about it. Nothing else to report. No craziness, no anything. So as much as I love hearing the sound of my own voice, I will wrap this up. That's it for now. Stay safe. Keep wearing your masks, and we'll talk again soon. Good morning. It is Coronavirus Video Journal Day 34. It is the morning of May 30th, 2020, and it's once again been a light night again, even though the emergency department was much busier than it's been in the last 2 months. But as is the norm, the vast majority of the patients were presenting with really basic or stupid, really, complaints that did not require emergency room hospitalization or emergency room visits. Instead, required more of a primary care doctor visit. But we're kind of sliding back into the normal groove of people abusing our healthcare system in the emergency department. So, for better or worse, I think it sucks, but you might want to look at it as things are starting to return to normal here in the emergency department and in Southern California. Nonetheless, no COVID admissions overnight, and I admit, thus far, I have been wrong. The wave of patients we expected to see has not yet arrived now that things have started opening back up a couple weeks ago. So maybe I was wrong, maybe it'll show up in the next week, who knows. But for now, I accept that the promise I made has not yet come to fruition. So, but that's it for me. We have more tests, so now we're able to test again, thankfully. But, as usual, the numbers are limited, but it is at least better than it was earlier in the week. And that's it. Stay safe, wear your masks, stay indoors if you can, and I'll talk to you all soon. Good morning. It is Coronavirus Video Journal Day 35. It is the morning of May 31st, 2020. Overnight was brutal. I got hit with a bunch of cases, all of which were really sick people. And I had 4 new coronavirus patients. All of them are very sick. Suddenly very sick. So like I told y'all before, it looks like a lot of these coronavirus patients know they're sick, they have some kind of respiratory issue, and they just go on for a couple of days, and usually by about the 5th day of being sick, they all of a sudden fall off a cliff's edge and just crash. So we've had a couple of those and a couple more on the verge. So 2 of those 4 coronavirus patients are now on ventilators already. I believe a 3rd one should be on a ventilator by the end of the day. And so horrible news from that aspect. The only silver lining you can find to this cloud is that I should never doubt myself again. Told y'all this would happen. I told you! So, instead of 14 days after opening for things to start causing problems, it's 15 days. So, when it rains, it pours. So, I hate to say it, but I was right. And yet, it kind of feels really good to tell you I'm right. Now, I just hope that my patients can actually recover Although, unfortunately, like I said, they are extremely sick, and some may do better than others, although the odds are against them. Nonetheless, yeah, that's it. We should see a lot more. As you see, I'm wearing yellow again, which means it's the end of my work week. So I'm going to get about 8 days off. So it looks like the rest of my team will be dealing with the flood of coronavirus patients that looks like is on its way. And yeah, but I was right. The haters were wrong. And we're in for a doozy. Just watch. But anyway, that's it for me. Sorry, I'm extremely exhausted. It was a really, really long and rough night. So be well and take care of yourselves. Wear your masks. This all happened because no one wore their masks. Oh, speaking of which, I don't know if you can tell, but this is my N9, one of my 4 N95s. And that right there is a blood spot because I've been wearing this thing for so long now that my nose rubbed up against it too much and ended up bleeding just barely because of the irritation into the mask. So yeah, I have to wear them that long. And my nose is that big. So nonetheless, that's it. Keep wearing your mask, stay inside, social distance if you can, and we will talk again in a little over a week.